Training camp is open, and nobody gets to hide behind a resume anymore. Jobs, roles, even old assumptions are under attack in Los Angeles. Bolt fam, get ready. Today we are confronting a brutal production drop, a possible reunion that could change things for Justin Herbert, the quarterback's technical transformation, and an offensive line decision already demanding courage from this coaching staff. I do not want lukewarm evaluations. I want to know who helps this team win right now and who is only delaying the answer. If you demand real ambition from the Chargers too, subscribe and step into the fight with me. Darius Davis entered the NFL carrying a weapon nobody can teach: speed that destroys pursuit angles. Before joining the Chargers, he had already won a state championship in the 200-meter dash in high school and established himself as one of the most dangerous return specialists in college football at TCU. Los Angeles spent a fourth-round pick on him in 2023, knowing exactly what it was buying. His path to offensive snaps would be crowded. On special teams, he had the tools to hit the league immediately, and he did. Davis finished his rookie season with 385 yards and a touchdown on punt returns, led the NFL at 16 yards per attempt, and earned second-team All-Pro honors. That was not a favor, a projection, or a fan base getting carried away. That was production recognized across the league. The problem is simple. When your rookie season explodes like that, every season afterward gets measured against the blast. In 2024, injuries and declining punt return efficiency broke his momentum, even though his kickoff return average climbed from 22 yards to 27.6. Then 2025 turned the concern into something Los Angeles could no longer ignore. 3 targets, 2 catches, 10 receiving yards, 5 rushing yards, 77 yards on 11 punt returns, and 464 yards on 18 kickoffs. His 7-yard average on punts looked nothing like the game-changing burst he showed as a rookie. That is why walking into 2026 and pointing at the All-Pro label would be a mistake. Davis has to prove he can still flip field position and that his speed deserves design touches on offense. His contract makes the choice even cleaner. According to SpotTrack, he carries a $1.145 million base salary, a $1.322 million cap hit, and only $177,983 in dead money. If the value does not return, moving on would be financially manageable. Do not bury him before the competition starts, though. The roster does not have an established returner who has already ripped the job away, and that opening keeps Davis alive. The danger is coming from 2 younger speed options. 4th-round rookie Brennan Thompson and Keandre Lambert-Smith can both work as gadget pieces, and both can attack the exact territory that once felt reserved for Davis. My verdict is aggressive because this situation demands it. Reputation does not win a roster spot, but competition does not erase proven ability either. Davis has a real opportunity to save his job. He has to make opponents nervous again every time the ball hangs in the air. If camp reveals nothing beyond memories from 2023, Joe Ortiz cannot burn a roster spot waiting for the past to magically return. That hard line leads straight into the next debate. If this receiver room is still searching for dependable answers, turning toward a familiar face may be far smarter than pretending the current group already offers enough comfort. That familiar face is Keenan Allen, and the idea of another return to Los Angeles gains traction precisely because this receiver room still has to establish its hierarchy. NFL.com's Grant Gordon listed the Chargers as a potential fit for the veterans still available on the market, and noted that Joe Ortiz has never completely closed the door. It remains a possibility, and training camp could make it far more attractive if the current receivers fail to deliver the reliability this offense needs. Allen returned to the Chargers in 2025 after spending 1 season in Chicago, then led the team with 81 catches and finished with 777 receiving yards. At 34 years old, he does not bring youth or the pure speed Mike McDaniel normally uses to stretch space until a defense cracks. He brings something else: coverage recognition, route control, trust on 3rd down, and years of chemistry with Justin Herbert. Dismissing all of that as nostalgia would be lazy. Demanding his return without examining the fit would be just as lazy. Ladd McConkey has to keep developing as the central piece. Quentin Johnston has to answer the consistency question. Brennan Thompson arrived in the 4th round to add acceleration. This new attack wants motion, anticipation, and yards after the catch. Allen would need a defined role inside that vision. McDaniel should not have to rebuild his system around a beloved memory. My position is direct. If camp exposes sloppy route precision and a lack of trust in critical moments, Ortiz should make the call. A sensible contract for a veteran Herbert already knows could raise the floor of this passing game without blocking the younger receiver's development. If the current group masters the system, Los Angeles keeps its flexibility. Either way, the door should stay open. Rejecting proven help before measuring the actual need would not be discipline. It would be vanity dressed up as roster planning. The receiver debate becomes much bigger once Justin Herbert starts operating Mike McDaniel's offense with the mental speed this system demands. This is not simply about throwing the football faster. McDaniel has spent 2 decades building an offensive philosophy around the wide zone running game, anticipation, and delivering the ball into space so his playmakers can create after the catch. For Herbert, now entering the 7th year of his career, that required a major change, rebuilding his base, rhythm, and mechanics after years of being able to trust one of the strongest arms in the NFL. During OTAs, Herbert worked from a different shotgun stance and drilled the movement with a weighted ball instead of simply stacking throw after throw. Some people question the days when he was not passing, but the purpose was to reorganize his body before the football ever left his hand. Changing a professional quarterback's established habits is not a cosmetic adjustment. If his feet arrive late, the read arrives late. If the base is clean, anticipation can turn a tiny throwing window into a catch with room to run. But Bolt fam, here is where the story gets interesting. Herbert came back from the break and did more than remember what the offense had installed during the spring. He began taking ownership of the new movements. McDaniel said he makes his expectations clear before players leave. The work must look cleaner when they return. According to the coordinator, Herbert used that opportunity to impress him and fire him up because the quarterback was already owning things that had only been introduced a few months earlier. That changes the entire weight of this adjustment. Herbert spent part of the break training his footwork with his younger brother, Patrick Herbert, the former Oregon tight end who is currently with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Having a brother inside professional football does not guarantee command of a new system. It does provide a training partner who understands timing, body position, and the relationship between a receiver's step and the quarterback's base. Herbert did not report to camp trying to remember the drill. He returned ready to build on it. This is where I will defend our quarterback against the tired analysis that reduces his game to arm talent. Herbert is not above criticism. January demands more, and he knows it. But when an established quarterback agrees to pull apart pieces of his own mechanics to serve the offense better, that is leadership, not limitation. He could have leaned on the cannon and waited for McDaniel to bend the scheme around him. Herbert chose the opposite path. He attacked the uncomfortable work. The real test comes next. The ball has to leave early without stripping away the vertical aggression that makes Herbert dangerous. His receivers have to reach the correct landmarks, because anticipation becomes unnecessary risk when timing breaks down. If that synchronization survives real pressure, Los Angeles can generate yards without asking Herbert to rescue every snap through improvisation. The offense becomes less dependent on the extraordinary, and that can actually create more chances for extraordinary plays to appear. There is also a larger strategic payoff. Earlier decisions force defenders to react sooner. Space can open before protection collapses, and playmakers get opportunities against leverage instead of waiting for broken coverage. None of that removes Herbert's ability to launch a deep strike. It gives that weapon a stronger structure and keeps the quarterback from carrying the entire burden on every third down. This progress deserves real excitement, but it depends on interior protection. No new base survives when a defender slices through the gap immediately. That is why the left guard competition is no longer a side note from camp. It is a direct challenge to the coaching staff. Prove you can protect the technical investment Herbert has already made. Jake Slaughter was selected in the 2nd round, but the first 2 days of camp did not look like the beginning of a truly open competition at left guard. The rookie continued to work mainly as the second-team center and also received snaps at left guard with the backups. Meanwhile, free agent addition Kayode Awosika opened Wednesday with the first unit, and Trevor Penning received opportunities in front of Justin Herbert on Thursday. Cut through the diplomatic language. If the Chargers believe Slaughter can win this job, they need to put him where the actual competition is happening. Occasional reps with the 2nd and 3rd groups can develop versatility. They cannot show whether he can build synchronization with Rashawn Slater and Tyler Biadasz, recognize pressure beside the starters, or execute the wide zone system at McDaniel's required pace. A 2nd-round pick needs a plan that makes sense, especially on a line carrying the responsibility of keeping Herbert upright. That does not mean handing the rookie the position. Awosika arrived in free agency and deserves to keep the lead as long as he performs better. Penning should be tested too. Camp exists to find the best 5-man combination, not to justify where somebody was drafted. What I refuse to accept is a competition that exists in press conference language while one of the candidates receives almost no real chance to fight for it. We are still early, and the order can change when the protections get more complex, the pads come on, and the practices become more physical. Early does not mean meaningless. Snap distribution shows where the plan currently stands. Right now, Slaughter looks more like interior depth than a challenger placed in the center of the battle. There is another layer to this. The Chargers are asking Herbert to speed up his processing and rebuild his lower body timing. The blockers in front of him have to develop timing of their own. Every delayed answer at left guard steals reps from the 5 players who eventually need to communicate as one unit. Competition is healthy, endless uncertainty is not. Bolt Nation War Room, from 0 to 10. How urgently do you want Slaughter working with the starters right now? Or would you force the rookie to master the backup center job first? Give me the decision, not the comfortable answer. Every day without clarity at left guard takes time from an offensive line that must learn together. And Herbert has already done his part by rebuilding his feet. 4 stories, 1 demand. Nobody in Los Angeles gets to live off a name, draft status, or promise. Darius Davis must recover his explosiveness. Keenan Allen could become the answer if this receiver room needs experience. Herbert has already attacked an uncomfortable change. Slaughter deserves a coherent path into the competition. Camp should not protect egos. It should reveal who belongs in the offense McDaniel is building. Bolt fam, I need your opinion on this one. What is the Chargers' most urgent next step? Settle the return job, call Allen, or accelerate the battle at left guard? Put it in the comments, hit like, and demand answers with me. The talent is here. Los Angeles must choose without fear.